Now, another thing, and we're going to talk about test a little bit for a minute. So you know that your test is 31 questions. No ifs, ands, or buts. Your test is not going to be in this order. This may be his number one, this may be your number one, this may be her number one. All of your test questions are multiple choice. That can be a good thing, that can be a bad thing. Do not leave a freaking question unanswered. Any, miny, miny, moe it. Okay? There are going to be the answers that I know are going to suck you in. So just because the answer is, oh, it's there, it may be there to suck you in. It may not be the right answer, so make sure you pay attention. All right. When you get down there, or get into the testing room, let me come back and show you a couple of things. I think I have it listed under graph and calculator. They are going to hand you a piece of paper. I have it under graph and calculator. It just says testing when you sit down at the computer. When you go into, and you'll go into this room, the tutoring room, and then you'll take a right, and there's a little lady that's sitting there. You can't take anything in with you. Either leave it in your car, or they have little cubby holes that you can put it in and lock it. Don't take your cell phone. If you have a hat on, they'll make you turn it around backwards so that you don't have your bill showing. They'll make you turn around backwards. Cell phone has to be in a cubby hole, purses, book bags, keys, everything has to be in a cubby hole. You will use their calculator, you will use their scratch paper, their formula sheet. You can bring your own pencil or you can use their pencil. When you sit down, they'll give you that formula sheet that's like 5 pages or whatever, but you're only going to be using that very front thing that says Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4. Okay? They're also going to give you this sheet of paper. On one side it says MML or MSL, which is y'all, my math lab or my stat lab, and on the other side it's going to say ALEX. ALEX is our lower level classes. You are only going to want to read the MML, MSL. Okay? And I'm going to go over it with you. It says once your test is started, you will not be allowed to get up for any reason. So you can't get up to go potty, blow your nose, anything. So when you sit down, you can stay there forever. So if it takes you 4 hours, it takes you 4 hours. You have to start the test at least an hour before they close. If you need more than an hour, you better start earlier than an hour. But you cannot get up once you start. The testing assistant cannot help you at all with a calculator. If you feel like your calculator is screwed up, you can ask for another calculator. They can switch out for another calculator, but they can't help you with the calculator. They do not know your login information. Okay. They'll give you a yellow calculator. It's just like yours. Press the program key. Go to Fix Calc. Press enter and enter, just like you just did. Now, some of you are, it's totally how you prefer your calculator. Some of you, when you type in stuff, you prefer your calculator to be 9 to the third. And some of you prefer 9 to the third. Okay? It's total preference. Let me show you. This is one way. And this shows you how to fix it. So I just want to explain, because I want you to feel as comfortable as you can with your calculator. No, let me fix it so that you can see. And then let me go to the other one. Oops. Okay, so if I go and do, so you know what you're familiar with. Some of you are familiar with 9 to the third, and some of you are familiar with 9 to the third. On that little piece of paper, it tells you that you can change. Right here, it says press the mode button, go down until you see Math Print or Classic. Math Print is if you want it 9 to the third. Classic is if you want it 9 to the third. So you can change it according to whichever one you want. So just to show you, here's what I did. I hit the mode button. I scroll down. It is at the top of the second page. I get on top and make math print black if I want it to be to the up here. If I want it to be to the, I get on top of classic and I hit enter. Okay? And then when you're done, you hit second quit to get out of there. So that's what that means. And then if you darken the word print, scroll down, make sure the stat wizard is off and stat diagnostics is on. So you're going to get back in mode, make sure stat wizard is off. So you're going to scroll down. You're going to make sure stat wizard is off. Stat wizard is off. And stat diagnostics is on. And it tells you exactly what to do. We good? And they're going to hand you this piece of paper. Now, this tells you to log into my math lab. Y'all are now in D2L, so you log into D2L like you're supposed to be. And I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute. If you need more paper, pencil, the computer's doing something strange, or you need something else, put up your help sign, and the testing assistant will come to you. They are not allowed to answer any questions on the test or calculator questions. At the end of the test, do not submit the test. You put your help sign up. When you think you're done, you put your help sign up, and the testing assistant will submit it for you. This is for your benefit. If the test gets lost in Never Never Land, we need somebody to back up and say, yes, she did make a 95. And they write down the grade so that we have a paper copy for you, okay? They will take up all your scratch paper, your formula sheet, and your calculator before you leave, and then you're done, okay? So you'll get this sheet of paper. Now, when you sit down, you'll check in with her. You'll just say, I'm taking Ms. Cooper's stats test. You'll show her your ID. You've got to have that tech ID. You'll show her your ID. You'll tell her you're taking Ms. Cooper's stats test. She'll give you everything that you need. She'll tell you where to sit. And then you'll log into the computer like you always log in. And there's a button over here too, and y'all don't cheat because she's watching everything you do. There's a button off to the side that says Unit Test and Final Exam. You're going to click on Unit Test and Final Exam, and you're going to click on Unit Test and Final Exam. Now, the one at the top is your real test. These at the bottom are like book tests. These at the bottom are ones that were written by your textbook author. You can do them infinite amount of times. They do not affect your average. There's one for couple for chapter 1, couple for chapter 2, couple chapter 3. They're not going to affect your average. So if you want to do them, fine. If you don't want to do them, fine. I did not go over everything in chapter 1. So by doing those, it may or may not be a good indication of how well you're going to do or not. Okay? So when you go in to take your test, you click on the real test.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Will that actually be close to your test?
This is, no, these,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
The textbook author did them. If you want to know what my test is like, look at that spreadsheet with 31 questions.
Okay.
Now, I put that it's open till 11:59. It is not because they close. And I didn't want to put 8:30 because sometimes they'll let you keep working till 8:31 or 8:32. So I just put 11:59, but you know that you can't stop working when they close. Okay? So if I click, and y'all, when y'all go in there, you're going to click, and it's going to ask for a password, which keeps y'all from working on it at home. You put up the help sign, the tutor types in the password. Now, all of our tests are different. This just says you have one attempt. Surprise, surprise, 31 questions, okay? You don't have a time limit. As long as you sit there and watch your bladder and smoke breaks and all that stuff, you don't have to leave. and then you hit start test. Now, the only reason I'm opening it is because some of y'all freak out on me. When you're doing your homework, you are so used to view an example, help me solve this, blah, blah, blah. Your test does not have that. Your test has one question, that's it. The blank is the difference between consecutive lower class limits. You just have a question. Okay? So you answer that question. Do we know what that one is?
Midpoint.
Class width.
It didn't divide by 2. Midpoint's divided by 2. We better, I don't know if I answered it right, but we better, maybe review some. Okay, so then I go to number 2, and I answer number 2, and then I go to number 3. I'm just going through these. Now, you can drop down and skip around, go back to, come back, review, change answers, whatever. Okay? So you can click back, click forward, so I can skip down, you know, click whatever. Y'all with me?
Yeah.
What is that one?
School width.
Okay, the mean cost. We good? Now, when I think I'm done, I will put up my help sign and I will ask them to submit it. Now, this is saying I have not completed it. Y'all better have completed it. And I'm going to hit submit. Now, you will know your grade immediately. But I do not let you review your grade or review your test until after everybody in the class has taken it. So your grade will automatically go into the test. It will automatically, go into the grade book. You will know your average, but you won't know what you meant, which ones you got right or wrong, or see what you got right or wrong until everybody's taken it. We good? Mm-hmm. Now, to study, what I would do is don't study in order. 3.1, I would go to this page in my electronic textbook and only study those problems. I have the solutions, and if I need to pull it up right here, don't study homework, because if you study homework, remember I put some crappy homework in there. I would only study these problems. So if I come out here and I go to table of contents, and once it gets there, I come over here and I do unit test reviews. Unit 1. That's the spreadsheet. And then solutions manual, these are all the answers to the textbook. And then if I pull up the electronic textbook, so there's all the answers to the textbook. And then if I also go in and pull up the electronic textbook, I can do the pages and check the problems at the same time. But I would only do the problems that are here. Now, another thing that I strongly recommend, let me see if I have it out here. I think I do. Yes. And I'll post this out there in your notes, or I can even send it to you as an email. I would do, before I even open my test, before I look at the first problem, I would dump my brain onto a piece of paper. You cannot bring in notes. You cannot bring in anything written down. But before you look at the first question, because when y'all look at the first question, you're going to go blank. I would dump down anything that I feel like I need to remember. So here is an example of somebody from a previous semester that said, oh, I need to dump down, and you may want to add to this, but take your scratch paper that they give you and just sit down and write down anything that you feel like you need to remember. This person thought that they needed to remember that capital N and lowercase n, that mu and data, z-score, data minus mean, those percentages for the 68, 95, 99, 7, this is already on the formula sheet, so I don't know why they put that on there. That if the mean is less than the median, it's skewed left, skewed right. Midpoints, explanatory is the predictor, qualitative is going to be a number, discrete is whole numbers. So this is what they chose for their data dump. Yours may have more, yours may have less. But write that down before you ever, and while you're doing this, while you're going through this, have that sheet of paper there and then like, oh crap, I don't remember what this is. I forgot that, you know, parameter means population, or that may be one of the things you're struggling with. And have this formula sheet, because anything that's on that formula sheet, and I have the formula sheet out there for you. Let me find my little button.
Do you
You
have
just
that
say-
data dump?
I'll put it out there for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, formula sheet I have out here. And some of this formula sheet is crap to y'all. Plain and simple. For example, this is how they tell you to find standard deviation. Unless you're taking it online and don't know better. Okay? This is how they tell you to find, this is how they tell you to find correlation coefficient. We do linear regression and get the R value. So some of this is going to be crap, but I mean residuals out there, I don't know why that person wrote that interquartile range on their data dump, because their IQR is Q3 minus Q1. Now this, for z-score, they wrote X minus X bar over S. It really doesn't say data minus mean over standard deviation, so you may want to write that down there. This is pretty clear, Q1 minus, Austin, don't forget, Q3 plus, okay? So there is some things out there that will help you, but then there's some things that you're like, oh crap, no. Now they did, that other person wrote about the mu is the population mean and the X bar, well that's kind of on here. So you need to, and it has up to the 4th chapter. So there are some things on there that will help you. Midpoint right here is the sum of 2 consecutive lower class limits divided by 2. Relative frequency. Y'all, we've done a lot. It's 4 chapters of work. Don't go in there without doing your homework. Don't go in there without studying. I did put on your homepage, I've got videos out there, I've got homework out there. Try to do all those homeworks until you get to 100. Print out that review sheet. Visit those tutors, y'all. They're sitting over there doing nothing. They can give you tips, they can give you tricks. This should be a good test grade, but you're gonna have to study. Our next test is going to be on 5 and 6. Our next 2 chapters are going to be probability. Okay? If you get stuck, text me or email me. I can call you and try to get you out of it. Let me know if y'all have questions. We are officially done with chapters 1 through 4. I'll get all this posted out there hopefully today or tomorrow.